Hey Bible lovers, I'm Tim Nichols, and I'm here to bring you Nichols Worth. And today from Zondervan, we have the NIV side column reference. Now one thing you're going to notice right away is it has a very similar layout to that of the NKJV side column reference from Thomas Nelson. They're also similar in size, similar in scope. It's about an 8.5 by 5. This one's just a touch bigger. Like this one may be like an 8.25 by 5.25, and this one's more like an 8.5 by 5.5. Part of that is because it has more of a yap. But when you look at the NKJV, you're going to see that the references are in the outer column. I wish they'd have put them in the gutter just because I'd like to see that text pushed out, because it does make that gutter a little tight. So when you get into the New Testament, this one is a black letter text, and as is the NIV. So let's focus on this one. This one is in a very nice blue goatskin. Now, one thing about the colored goatskins when it relates to the Premier Collection is they're not as floppy as some of the black ones. These goatskins are a little bit stiff. It's the same with the brown. Now, one advantage of it is when you hold it, it's not flopping all over the place. It does kind of hold its place like that. So just a couple of things I noticed. This paper does seem to be a little more shiny than I'm used to. It seems to have a little bit more of a glare when I'm looking at it. I don't know why that is. I don't know if maybe it's a different coating, but this paper definitely has just a little bit of a sheen to it that I don't see in this one. So some things to point out that I really like about this one. Number one is I love the silver gilding. Whenever you have blue, I always think that silver is the perfect accent color. I also like that they added 3 really nice ribbons. And then when you get to the liner, check this out. The liner is black, but it has the silver gilt line. Really nice corners. Check that out. Whenever you have a color contrast like this, those corners are going to snitch on you. And these corners both look really sharp. So well done on the corner work there. I really like the end sheet. It seems like maybe it's a little bit of a different material than I'm used to, but then here is another feature I really like. Check this out. It's got your silver gilding, right? But when you open it, check it out. Boom. It's like a charcoaly grayish black. And I just think that is a beautiful touch. I like that it's not really dark black, but it really accents and hugs this really well. And check out the overhead view. This has a very generous yap. That was something that really surprised me. For a personal size and for something that is mass produced, that is a very generous yap on a personal size Bible. Really about the perfect for me. And when you look at the gilding, look at that. That is excellent gilding work. The Premier Collection with Zondervan and Thomas Nelson, they have something figured out. And it's really great work. So now let's take a look at the text. This has the NIV comfort print that some people love, that some people hate. I don't mind it at all. It is a 9.5 font. It is a paragraph format. And for some reason, the NIV is never line matched on every page. You can see here it's pretty close to being line matched, but on this side it's just a little bit off. I don't know what that is about the NIV, but this is just something that we have to live with because the NIV simply is not line matched. It has the references on the outer column, and it has a little bit of a margin, just like the New King James does, but it looks to me like the margin is a bit more significant in this one. So that's a pretty good little win there. And also, I don't know how they did it, but they gave us this pretty large font at 9.5, and they've managed to keep the text out of the gutter. That's pretty impressive. You got this small footprint. This is more of a personal size, like a hand size, like a mid-size, as some people would call it. And you still have nice little margin space. You have your text well out of the gutter. Let's get more toward the middle. Check that out. That is excellent. That is excellent. Well done, well laid out. I'm not exactly sure how they did it, because look at the New King James. And the text, see how far it goes down in the gutter. Where this one is outside of the gutter margin. This is impressive. This is a very impressive layout. I love the blue accents to match the blue cover. This is just really well done. The subheadings are all blue. And then when you get to the New Testament, of course, as I said earlier, the words of Christ are going to be in black. So really nice layout. Really well done. I have to admit, I am very impressed and actually surprised by the amount of gutter space that we have on such a small text block with the references on the outer margin and a 9.5 font. This is like some masterful layout work here. When it comes to laying flat, when you have a personal size Bible, it is going to struggle a little bit in the beginning, but look, this is not terrible. We're on the title page. This is not wanting to lay flat, but let's get on into Genesis. We're early into Genesis here. Let me just give it just a little light touch. And it's staying open, so it's not laying flat. But for a personal size Bible, that's pretty good. Now moving on to the back. Once we get past Revelation and all the scriptures, we're going to have your standard table of weights and measures. You're going to have your dictionary concordance. And then, of course, at the end, you're going to have your maps. Now, what makes the dictionary concordance really nice is that it actually offers a little bit of a definition to each word. So it is going to make the concordance a little more concise because they're not going to have as much space for it, but it is going to give you a lot of tools to work with if you want to know the definition of the word. So this is really sharp. I like it. This is probably my favorite NIV that Zondervan has put out. So there you have it. Keep calm. G-Son. This is your Nicholsworth.